What happens when the world's largest democracy slams the phone shut on the President of the United States? Not once, not twice, but 4 times in a row. That's exactly what happened when Donald Trump slapped India with a brutal 50% tariff for buying Russian oil. But here's the shocking part. Prime Minister Narendra Modi didn't just ignore Trump's calls. He discovered something far more dangerous happening behind the scenes. Something that changed India's entire stance toward America and could reshape the balance of power in the 21st century. This is the story no one's talking about. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because on this channel we break down the biggest geopolitical shifts shaping our world. And trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. World leaders almost never ignore a call from Washington. The White House phone rings, and they pick up. Even when relations are strained, protocol is followed. But Modi? He did the unthinkable. He shut the door, ignored 4 straight calls from Trump. It wasn't just disrespect, it was a message. History tells us these moments matter. When Putin brushed off Obama during the 2014 Ukraine crisis, it was the opening move in a new era of defiance. When Charles de Gaulle rejected Washington in the 1960s, it reshaped NATO forever. Modi's silence now carries the same weight. Except this time, it's coming from a democracy the US once called its most important partner of the century. The date was August 27, 2025. That's when Trump blindsided India with a 50% tariff, the harshest ever imposed on a major economy outside of Brazil. The punishment? India refused to stop buying Russian oil. Trump expected Modi to cave. Instead, Modi doubled down. Within 6 months, Indian imports of Russian oil surged by 40%. The 2 countries expanded military cooperation. Moscow became more central than ever to New Delhi's energy security. Trump wanted obedience. What he got was defiance. To understand Modi's decision, you have to look at India's military backbone. Nearly 60% of India's defense hardware, from fighter jets to missile systems, comes from Russia. These aren't luxuries, they're lifelines. Modi knew one thing. Without Russian cooperation, India's national security could collapse overnight. So when Washington demanded that India choose between Moscow and the West, Modi chose sovereignty. He vowed he would never sacrifice India's farmers, its workers, or its independence just to satisfy US tariffs. To his people, this wasn't about trade, it was about dignity. The tariffs weren't just symbolic, they were devastating. Nearly $80 billion in Indian goods suddenly faced crushing US penalties. That's over half of India's exports to America. Textiles alone took an $8 billion hit. Pharmaceuticals lost $7 billion. Agriculture another $6 billion. And the ripple effects? American consumers are paying the price. Generic drug prices up. Clothing costs rising. Major Indian conglomerates like Tata Group and Reliance are warning of massive supply chain disruptions. On the ground in India, millions of workers face layoffs. But here's the twist. Modi's approval rating hasn't collapsed. It's still holding strong above 60%. Why? Because to many Indians, standing up to Washington is a badge of honor. For decades, Washington counted on India as the cornerstone of its Asia strategy, a counterweight to China, a democratic partner in tech, trade, and defense, a member of the Quad that gave balance to the Indo-Pacific. But now, that foundation is cracking. With India leaning east, China is strengthening its grip across Southeast Asia. Russia is securing deeper ties with New Delhi. And the US? It suddenly finds its alliances tested like never before. The dream of a US-India century is faltering, and the vacuum it leaves could redefine global power. But here's the part few people realize. Modi's silence wasn't just about tariffs or even oil. It was about trust. For 25 years, Washington and New Delhi built a relationship they called the most consequential partnership of the 21st century. Trade pacts, defense deals, technology ties. And yet, one tariff shattered the illusion. To Modi, Trump's move proved that Washington would weaponize trade to force compliance, that the partnership wasn't equal, but conditional. So Modi did what few leaders have dared to do. He put sovereignty above friendship. The consequences are still unfolding. India is doubling down on energy independence, military self-reliance, and strategic autonomy. U.S. firms are scrambling to find new suppliers. Global markets remain volatile. And across Asia, governments are recalculating their strategies, watching India's bold defiance play out. What began as a trade dispute has now become a geopolitical earthquake. The aftershocks will be felt for decades. So here's the question. Did Trump miscalculate India's resolve? Or was this confrontation inevitable? One thing is certain. August 27th, 2025 will be remembered as the day India changed its stance toward America. The 21st century isn't just being written, it's being rewritten. If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure you hit subscribe and tap the notification bell. We've got more deep dives into the moments that are reshaping history, and you won't want to miss them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.